Morning all, welcome to Monday, and you're very welcome to it. So my day didn't get off to much of a good start. I managed to spill this tea just as I was sitting down. It's delayed me a little bit, but these things happen, I suppose. It was a bit of a shock. Didn't actually get any hot tea on myself, which was a relief, but to clean up a little bit. Definitely needed though. It's a Monday, and what are we going to do today? Well, I thought I would have a go at finishing off the upload photo to album feature within Rodeo, and then I would, if we've got time, which we probably won't, so it might end up being next Monday, look at doing automatic releases so that when I close a milestone on GitHub, it will automatically release for me. Not sure if that's easily doable. I do know that some friends of mine have written tooling that makes that possible, so we might see if we can get that working as well. But let's get going with some interesting stuff first. Some there. Right, so what we're going to need. I need a terminal. Here's a terminal. There's Rodeo, so we're already on Rodeo, that's good. And we're on the right branch. 21 specific album name. Not Safari, GitHub, Acrobat Rodeo. Issue 21, this isn't it? So there's issue 21. Let's have a quick look. When uploading to an album using -- upload, allow the parameter to be the name of the album. We'll then look at the Flickr ID and use that. There's more one choice, allow the user to select ideally or arrow listen names and IDs using the correct one. Okay, so we're going to need a photo. Let's take a photo. Camera. I'll show you a picture of. A picture of the Stream Deck today. Picture of the Stream Deck, and then I'm just going to send that to my computer. Photos button, hit share, drop it over to Neptune. That'll come over. Neptune being the name of my main Mac. Heard a beep, don't know if you did, so that's a good sign. Claims to be sending, claims to have sent. So cp ~downloads image hike to ~downloads export. And we can open that folder. I think we'll need to convert it to a JPEG. So let's bring that over to the other screen so you can see it. Let's open the file. That's going to open up in Acorn. That'll do. There it is. Let's export that. As a JPEG. Where's that saved it? Did it save it in the same directory? Do you remember? Didn't save it there. Oh, it's saved in documents, that's not very helpful. Move ~documents JPEG to the export directory. Okay, so CD downloads export, let's run cell. There's that image JPEG. Let's RM the HEIC file. So now we've got a JPEG file that we can use. Not particularly easily named. So let's rename that. Quickest way, got a keyboard shortcut, which will run a script to rename it. Let's close this down. Okay, so now we've got our file. We can use that rodeo. Okay. So go run main.go --upload. What's the available options? Unknown flag --upload. That's right, it's just upload. --help. Let's find out what the options are. Actually, this isn't very big, so let's make this a bit bigger. Does that make it bigger? That. That. Ah, that one. There's something. And I must learn the correct shortcuts, mustn't I? Okay, so we can use --album to add it to a -n for to dry run. So -n tilde down tilde / downloads export image. Oh, it's okay. Excuse me. Not sure renaming it was a good move. What can you do? So this would have uploaded it to there, but we want to add it to a particular album. So let's add it to the, what was it, --album. Severn Valley Railway. Could not find an album called Severn Valley Railway. And obviously couldn't find anything vaguely appropriate. SVR helps. Oh, maybe it just doesn't tell you the available choices. That would be more useful. Go run main.go list albums --grep SVR. Not --grep, it's filter. Oh, that's how I spell list albums, is it? Albums. Yes, there's a whole choice of SVR albums. What that should have done then is that should have given me a list of options. That would have been a bit more useful, wouldn't it? Let's open up and have a look. It's no use just returning nothing. Let's see what we get. Very much a Monday morning today, isn't it? So, where's the upload? Upload.go. Search for album. There we go, there's the album string. There we go, we do a get album ID, and if we fail, we just could not return it. So this is where it's going wrong. So that function there. Ooh. Tries to find the album, fails. I thought we did a load of work in list albums. We had to get the albums from generically. So there's a function called get albums now. Could use instead. Yes, so we want this code here. Right, okay, yeah, I remember now. So this is go retrieve Flickr. Yes, so what I got to was I refactored list albums to create a package called Flickr.go where I've got a get albums function. So now I can use it in upload.go instead of all this code here. So we've got the get Flickr client and we can get the list of albums like that. Albums, get albums, that's client. The filter is the album ID. Like that. Well, that's then if we don't get any albums back, then we're going to return error equals not equal to nil. Oh, so this is how you return an error. That, but now we need an error. Errors.new, I think it is. Found. Exclamation mark. String should not be capitalized. Or Andrew punctuation. Okay. That's very specific, isn't it? Specific. Okay, so this is doing something weird here. Auto formatting it somehow. Sure, I like that auto formatting. Don't know how that works. Go back here. Jump back up. Right, so I'll go again. Error. Like that. Let's run that again. But pick an album we know doesn't exist. Like ASDF. We've not found album ASDF, no album found. So I think we need to do this. And can't I select that? Oh. Wonder what's happening there. Could not find album. Let's drag that line off title. Like that. That needs to lose that. So, presumably printf is not the right argument. sprintf. That looks better. Go back, so we can just do that. Now, run that again, and we should get just a single line. I don't think we need the word error in front of that though. Printf error percentage s new line, close the string, error, like that. Error colon, could not find album. Yeah, that's better. Right, so if we so that's if there's exactly no albums. If there's exactly one album, but no albums found. Exactly one album found. Right, in that case, got one album. We want to, I wonder if we get the album itself back. Yeah, we probably do. We'll probably do something like that. What we're going to do here, we've got the exactly album, so we now need the first album. So how do you get the first album? Like that? No? In a slice. First, how do you get the first element in a slice? Golang, get first element in slice. See if Golang can tell us. Oh, :0. That :0. Albums of :0. I don't use photosets as type album. Okay, fair enough. We get back a photo set, not an album, so we need to convert from one to the other. Okay. So album photo set is that. Then album equals, no, colon equals album. What does it have inside it? ID? It's an ID. Photo set dot. It's in a photo set. Let's find out. ID. Title at the 2. Dot ID. Doesn't like that though. Albums is here. Let's go back here and jump to it. Here's our albums. So we're going to get the albums, and that's going to return a list of photo sets for each one. So clearly we need to get that photo set out again. How do we get that photo set out? So I thought we could do that. I thought photo set assigned to albums of 0 would give us the first photo item out. Probably photo album, maybe. Okay. But here, oops, still thinks it's an element. Oh, so maybe that isn't the way to get the first item. It should be though. Should be. So why didn't that work? Look at. How do we get that first element out? So this reckons 0. Maybe it's not a slice. Photo dot. Oh, there we go. It's not a slice, it's an array. So there's the ID, and what's the other one? Name is photo title. There we go. Whoops. That was close tab. Title, like that. So now we've got an album, we can return the album. So if we get exactly the right answer, we'll return the album. Lastly, when did I turn this off, this feature off? Golang 1, Golang, and so what's it doing? Folding. The collapse. Stop. The collapse of return. There we go, this one. Oh, it's a code folding thing. Okay, so let's turn off code folding. There we go, look, one line return. Let's do that. We don't want any folding at all. Not a fan of folding. Confuses me. About those later. Okay, so we're going to get the album from Flickr's API. So we're going to get the Flickr client, we're going to get the list of albums. There's exactly one album. So if exactly no albums, then we go error, could not find the album. If there's more than one album, we're going to error with the list of available albums. Then we've got to check that we can use the ID to get the answer back. That might not work, so we might have to work on that with get albums. So if we got to here, then by definition, we have more than one album has been found. Agreed? It's Monday morning. Anyone else awake yet? Say hello if you are. One album is found, so return a list. Wonder if I should return a list of albums at this point though. Now maybe we'll do that in the next iteration. So we need an error. Errors.new. That we need list. List of albums. And that. A list of albums is a string. More than one album has been found. That's upset because we've ended on a punctuation, but we won't be done by the time we finished. Colon. We like. Let's iterate over the list. That's how we iterate over the list. You can see my programming style here. When in doubt, copy from somewhere else where you've already done the work. So iterate over a list of albums. Format.sprint. Printf. Number, name, ID. Try that. And that's a list of albums. Append. Like that. Like that. Like that. List of albums. Is that how you do append? Oh, well, maybe. Or maybe you don't append to a. Maybe you don't append to a string in Golang. Golang appends to string. In which Rob? Concatenate. Oh, just plus equals. That's nice and easy. We could use a strings builder. But we're not doing that much. Let's try plus equals. Instead, maybe that'll work as well for us. Never know. So instead of doing that, just do plus equals, get rid of all this rubbish. Like that. Doesn't seem to argue with that. Should we try it? See what happens. Okay, so that's the album cannot be found. In this case, could not find the album. So there's a fair few albums which have got 365 in their name. There we go, found more than one album. I don't think we need that dash, do you? That doesn't seem to make much sense. Get rid of that dash here. Try that again. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? So it returns a list of albums that you can try for, which does mean that we need to be able to use that number. So instead of album 365, you want to do 721. Actually, we're not going to write all that out, are we? Copy it. We want to do that particular album. Could not find the album because it only searches by name. So maybe we should try and load it by ID first. So here we've got all the albums. And that filter is doing a string on the title. I think we should do actually the other way around. I wonder if you can use double equals. If you can use a double equals, does anyone know exact equals? Can we do if string no name to lower it, photos dot ID is exactly equal to filter, then append it. Let's try that. So now that should look for the ID first. If it finds it, it's going to succeed and correct. It has found the album to add 365 2020, which is the correct one for that particular ID. So yeah, that's worked as we would expect. -N for dry run, so it's not actually uploading it for me, which is why we've got this would upload photo to Flickr line here. It's not actually doing the upload because we're just dry running. Let's take that out again and put in the 365. And that should give us a list again. Yep. So now let's change that to quoted string 365:2020. And it correctly finds a single album if I spell it correctly. And 2021 doesn't exist yet. So hopefully this one it'll say could not find album 365:21. It's fairly flexible now, don't you think? So if I know the name, I can just type it in. If I know the ID, I can just type it in. If I can't remember, I can just put the general in, so a substring, and look up the right answer. Get from there, which is more useful for things that aren't specific. Like railway, for instance. Which railway one am I looking for? I'm mildly surprised that I haven't got one album called Railway directly. But I very clearly don't. So otherwise it would have found it. Which actually we could tell because if I go to list albums, where is it? There we are. No, I don't want to filter on SVR. Without a filter, we'll get a list of all the albums on the system. Yeah, there's one there, 2009, which is an album but also appears in various ones. That could be problematic. Let's take 2009 as an option. Oh no, there's more than one. Oh, that's right, yeah, because it's not an ID. So if you want to upload to album 2009, this. Yeah, that's correct. So I think what I really want now, let's commit that. So we've got that saved. Let's do that next. Git diff. Clicked it in history. So flickr.go. Okay, so let's do that one first. Git add internal flickr.go. Commit -v. What's that function called? Get albums. Form. No match. That ID in get albums. Flickr.get albums. That ID. Photoset is provided. So that's allowed, and in that matches and will be used. Find the photo set in question. If that does that, git status, git add commands upload, and then commands upload. Git commit, insert use, get Flickr, get albums or -- album. When when using the -- album load flag, we check for what we got to check for. We can use flickr.get albums to find that album or give us a list of matches. If only one album is returned, use it as error with list. Okay, so that gives us our list. So the next obvious feature, go back to that one, is when we get that list back, wouldn't it be better if I could just enter the number 7, then continue? I think that would be better, but I don't think we'll get that done today. Let's have a go, shall we? More Go programming where I don't really have a clue what I'm doing. Right, so the obvious thing we need to do, get album, has to be renamed to get albums. If 6 will do that, get albums. X an album ID, and now needs to return an array of albums. Like that. And it returns an array of albums. So this now needs to return an array of albums, an array of empty albums, an array of empty albums, an array of empty albums. Then otherwise, we're just going to return the albums. Oh, we can't return the albums. No, we've got to create the albums. So we've got to iterate over the... So before we go any further, let's rename this to photosets. Sets. Oh, didn't like that. Oh, maybe it did. Rename to photosets. Grab that. At least At least one album has been found, one photo set found. So iterate over them. And what we're going to do, we need to add them to a list of albums. So we need to create a list of albums. Albums. Array of album. Albums equals append album. Let's spell albums. Comma album. Like that. Album equals album. An ID. In fact, actually, it's that code there, isn't it? So we can grab that code. Drop that there. Get rid of all this lot here. Here. And return our list of albums. Which was successful, so we can return nil. So we don't need I. Like so. Morning Stu, how are you today? Watching me flail around in Go. I try to work out what I'm doing. Right. So get albums is now returning the list of albums. So we've got an array here of album objects. So you've got the red squiggly line here. That's going to mean that I'm probably using get album wrong. So let's jump up and have a look. And no, it's not throwing an error, but it's throwing the error here. Because when we upload the file, we can only upload one of them. And she says it makes a change from me watching him flail around in Go. So clearly Go is neither of our core language, at least not yet. Which is true. Getting better at it. I like language, but still not very good at it. So upload file takes an album, and we have got now here a list of albums. So we need to convert from albums to album. Obvious thing to do first. If len of albums is equal to 1, we've got our album. Album equals albums of 0. Album equals the empty album. Do I need that? Can I just do that and will it scope it correctly? No, it won't scope it correctly, I don't think. Because that's, like I say, it's not used because it's within this braces scope. But I need it outside the braces scope. Album. Which is an album. There we go. And that doesn't like that. Oh, that's because that's a single dollar sign. There we go. So I've got exactly one album. That's now going to end up in upload file. And we're going to be able to upload our file. See, I crash and burn if we get it wrong, but let's see that in play. So go run. Right, if we upload that one. So that's a particular album ID, so it's guaranteed to be only one of them. -N for dry run still, so we're processing this particular image. Privacy will be set to that. Albums to add to will be 365-2020 because it's exactly that album. All is fine and dandy. It was happy. If we give it a list, let's take that out and put back in 365, which gives us a list of albums. Ooh. That's an error. Oh, I know why. Because it's an empty album. I guess we're going to upload file. Here's the album. Yeah, album.id is not equal to blank, then we're going to have to add it. So we could have a blank album. Oh, because a blank album is valid. Blank album is a valid use case. Of course it is. You might not want to add it to an album. So that is perfectly valid as well. Completely and utterly correct. Interesting question. Why doesn't it tell me it's going to set the privacy? Logically, it should do. There's a bug there somewhere. Or maybe it only sets the privacy if there's a rule to run. And there's no rule to run for this particular file. Yeah, I wonder if that's what it is. Let's add a keyword. Exif tool. Minus K, minus keyword. Minus keyword? Keyword plus equals try SVR. So I've got keyword on that file probably. Yeah, there we go. So now there's a keyword of SVR. The auto rules are going to kick in. Hence, it's going to add it to the Severn Valley Railway album. Hence, it now displays that privacy will be set to family, true, friends to, public, true. If there are no rules, it doesn't bother showing that, even though that will happen, because that's the default. A potential issue there, possibly need to improve that. Let's put that keyword out again. Okay, that should now be back to before. Yep, okay. So yeah, no album is going to upload it as you'd expect. Supply an album where there is more than one, and it should display the list. It doesn't at the moment because we've not written the code that does that. Okay, so that needs to go here, not here. Here, ooh, there somewhere. Otherwise, list albums and ask user for a choice, to pick, to choose one. Something like that. Okay, so 4. Hey, we've done that code before. There's that code. Already selected because I nicked it last time. Right, so iterate over a list of albums. And what are we going to iterate over a list of albums for? I think I just triggered my echo. Cancel. It's over there, which is why I'm looking that way. I'm looking at it. That is not supposed to kick in. Right, okay. What are we going to do? Let's just start by just iterating them out. Surely is it name? Name and ID. So format.println choose an album. And there's a list of albums. Here we need to choose album. No, accept choose input. How do you do that? Format.println enter number of album to add this photo to, use 0 to cancel. Can you go to cancel? 0 none of. Actually, no, let's not do that. Too complicated. Like that. And for a minute, I'm just going to put a return in, just check it works. Available albums that match. Percentage S/N, comma. What was the? Ooh, I can't use album. Album. Oh no, we called it album ID. Okay, phew. That's now format fprint f. Let's run that again, have a look. We should now have a list of albums. Albums that match 365 : 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 years worth of Project 365 so far. Enter number of album to add this photo to. Okay, so how do we do that? Go lang accept user input command line. Yeah. Hit the Stack Overflow. Read standard in. Okay, so we create a new reader. That seems quite obvious, really. Then we call read string. So let's grab those 3 lines. And let's see what happens. So put them there, get rid of that line. Chosen album index. Like that. That should be error, presumably. We should check for errors. Error is not nil. Error, exit. Otherwise, we have an ID. So album is now equal to albums of the ID. Chosen album index. Which is probably unhappy about because that's probably a string and we need an integer. So we need to cast from one to the other. Yeah, but we can just do a cast like that as you do in C. Nope. Maybe it's dot int. Nope. Now to be a format option then. Go lang string to int. Dum. This way is to use struct conv a to I. Like that. Okay, so let's convert to an integer. Chosen album index, which means that needs to be chosen album. That needs chosen. Like that. Don't like that very much because that's got that weird thing going on there. That needs to be not equals to nil. And that signs it weirdly. So let's do that if not equals to nil and return the error. Really, we should put that in a loop. The user picks the wrong thing in rather than just erroring. Okay, so let's try that. Let's do that again. Enter the number to add this photo to 2. Error parsing 2/n. That is syntax. So we need to get rid of the /n. How do you get rid of the /n? Trim. Go lang trim new line. Yeah, there we go. It's exactly this problem. You can slice off the last character. Strings.trim suffix looks better though. Like that. So there's my chosen album. Let's do that. Successfully read it. And remove the new line. Convert to integer. we have to move all of this into a function soon because it's getting a bit unwieldy for here. Enter number 2, and it's correctly found. Oh no, it hasn't. It's found 2018. We have an off by 1 error. Go us! Oh, I didn't expect that. Albums will be albums had 2, 365, 2018, and that takes total sense because our for loop did an I plus 1. We need to an I minus 1, having created it. So if we succeeded, that's album minus 1. Run it again. Choose 2. Oop, didn't like that. Not to be too fast. There we go, now it's found 2019 and it would have uploaded it to Flickr. So that's a success. All this code though is looking a little bit too much, too complicated. Now the question is, do we move that all into Get Albums? Get Albums at the moment retrieves a list of albums. But this is upload.go, it's not a generic function. It already does quite a lot though. Something doesn't like that code. Anti-slice declaration via literal. Okay. Or do we create a new function? What do you reckon? Let's create a new function. Func choose album from list. And that's got to take the list of albums. And it's got to return an album or an error. Let's go back up here. So we've got the user. So here we're going to do album, comma, error equals choose album from list albums. Copy all that, delete that, and that's album that. There we go, so that's going, oh, hang on, that's a bit pointless. Oh, no, that's right, album. Oh, why doesn't it like that? Why is that made up? Unused variable album. Oh, that's because that needs to be that. There we go. So choose album from list, takes our list of albums, returns the album that was selected, or errors. If it errors, you just get return. So let's fill in that function, that code we stole from earlier. We're going to need that line there. Well, so here's where we go choose the album. Allow display the available albums and allow the user to select one. So here's the available albums. We need to take the album ID in as a string. Album ID string, like that. And we're going to print them out. And we're going to ask for user input. Enter the number of the album to add this photo to. Select album. Error. Right, we got an error otherwise. So that's now that line. No, it's not that, it's return an album, empty album, or this error. And the error, actually, we don't need all that, do we? We can just do like that. Oh, no, we can't. Oh, why bother? Because it's an error already, so we could just do and we could do the same here. Otherwise, we can return our chosen album, our albums of chosen album index -1 with a nil error. We succeeded. So that puts the right answer. And now we've made this a nice function in its own right. Now we take the album ID in here though, so let's jump back up here and we need to pass in the album ID there. And we should be back to where we were before. Test again. Should say select albums that match 365. Is that not? 365 should probably be in double quotes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, and select the album. Select number 8 this time. 2013, and it correctly found it for us. Let's go back down here and put that in quotes. Like that. I wonder if we should put the album name in quotes. It's only looks slightly weird because of the colons in there. I tick 36 SVR, for instance. Chose that list of albums. Would it be better in strings? Would it be better in double quotes? What do you think? Anyone got an opinion? Should that be in double quotes? Let's assume not for now. Control C because I don't. Cool, good. Okay, let's commit that. Calling command upload.go. Git commit -git add commands upload. Git commit -v. Allow user to select album to upload if more than one. Too long. If there is more than one album found -- album flag switch parameter, then allow user to select which one they actually want. There we go. Git push -issue origin. And there we go. So now that's up on GitHub. DHPR create. Base is not developed for this one, but the base is main. Let's create a pull request. Add -- album flag upload. I say this is number 21. Let's grab that because we've basically done that code. I'm uploading album. I'm not uploading album. Oh no, it's not. It's not that. We've already got that. It's allow selection by name with -- album parameter. That's better. So when uploading an album using -- upload, allow the parameter to be named the album. We will then look up the album's Flickr ID and use that. If there's more than one available choice, then allow the user to select the correctly album match this image to. Fix X is 21. Create the pull request. And this will go on milestone 2. There you go, stop there. That'll do for today. Going to do some work now. Hope you found that interesting. I think I've made some progress, so I'm pleased about that. Getting further and further into this little application, making it more and more useful. So on the whole, let's hope you have a good day too. And I see Lorna's around, so yeah, do some work. I actually do need to do some work today. I actually need to choose what to do today as well, because I haven't actually planned it, because I got a bit too much into Civ yesterday. But yes, I hope I have a good Monday, and I hope you do too. Speak later.